Hi, today I'd like to talk about time management and discipline. In earlier videos I've discussed how time management can help you do the greatest amount of good by the greatest amount of customers using a limited pool of resources. The idea is to not invest too much time in one thing at the expense of everything else, even if you feel like what you're doing is cutting corners. And I explained my personal subjective view on where the line is and what you can do to try to save your own time. But overall, I was discussing a concept of doing the greatest amount of good by the greatest amount of people. In this video, I'm going to focus on doing the greatest amount of good by one person, which is yourself, through better time management, through discipline. I have a very eccentric and strange system for managing my time. It serves me very well. My system is to not plan for the future, not plan for where I want to be 1 or 3 or 5 years from now, because most of the time, those plans just don't work out. Life happens and interferes with your plans. Reality happens and interferes with your plans, and what you think what things are going to go like is not what it actually goes like. So I don't believe in planning. I look at those things that say, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail, and just think, fuck you. But when it comes to very immediate future, I am a very big proponent of accurate strategic planning. What am I going to do 1 minute from now? What am I going to be doing 5 minutes from now? What am I going to be doing 20 minutes from now? This is something that I truly believe in. I believe in that level of planning. So, for example, let's say I worked at an amazing recording studio. Let's say a client calls up and says, I have a 72-piece orchestra and I need to get started recording in 45 minutes. The studio owner would not go, no, that's not possible, there's no way that we can set that up in 45 minutes, I'm sorry. He would do the very proper thing and say, yes sir, we're more than happy to accommodate you, we can definitely get you in 45 minutes, that will be $375 an hour. And what would we do? We would have to get everything set up in less than 45 minutes, because you know damn straight that when these particular clients say they're going to be in 45 minutes, that in a half hour they're going to be in the lobby with their instruments wondering when we get in. So we get started, and myself and maybe 2 or 3 other Full Sail graduates that can't find their dick with binoculars and fucking tweezers are the people that are helping me to set this up. Now, instead of going, oh my God, what am I going to do, and saying, let's just try to do it, and then noticing that I spent 20 minutes on one fucking part of it and got nothing done, what I would do is come up with a plan that was separated by the minute. 1 minute from now, I'm going to round up these dumbass Full Sail motherfuckers and tell them what we're doing. 2 minutes from now, I'm going to tell you that I need you to take these mic stands and place them here. 3 minutes from now, I'm going to find the other fuckwit and tell him, I need you to run these microphone cables from this panel to these mic stands. 5 minutes from now, I'm going to tell this guy, I need you to take all these music stands and put them over here. 6 minutes from now, I am going to run downstairs and grab headphone boxes. 7 minutes from now, I'm going to be back up here with the headphone boxes. 8 minutes from now, hopefully one of these fuckwits is halfway done with what he's doing and can help me with plugging the cables into these headphone boxes. 9 minutes from now, and you get the idea. I would take the time period and break it down into the tasks I need to perform. And in my head, if I had 45 tasks and 45 minutes to do them, I would say 1 minute per task. This accomplishes 2 tasks. The first task that this accomplishes is it relieves anxiety. I'm going to be honest with you, YouTube. I'm a fairly anxious person. My brain is working all the time, and sometimes it's thinking about things that I don't want it to think about. And one of the ways that I relieve the anxiety so that I can have a clear head is by creating a short-term plan of what I need to get done. Because when I explain to myself how I'm going to accomplish this clusterfuck, and I turn this clusterfuck into smaller pieces and I beat it down and I allot time to it, I accomplish a couple of things. The first is I build my confidence. If I take this clusterfuck of a task and I break it down into 20 tasks, and I get 3 of those accomplished, I now have confidence that I'm going to get the other 17 accomplished. I feel good about myself. I relieve my anxiety. That's the second thing. I relieve the anxiety. I give myself a clear head. When you have a large clusterfuck of a task, and you need to complete that large clusterfuck of a task very quickly, you don't have the luxury of having a head that is filled with anxiety. You don't have the luxury of a head that's filled with self-doubt and, oh my, how am I going to get this done? Your head needs to be clear. You need to be in the game. And the third thing this does is it gives me an actionable plan to follow so that I can actually follow the plan and get the job done. So this requires a sense of discipline. It's very easy to throw time or money or resources or people or whatever it is at a situation and hope it gets settled. But most situations, most problems are solved by strategic planning and through disciplined use of limited resources. And that's what I'm doing here. When I see that I have a list of things to do, and by the way, I will often write this down, unless I'm in a situation where I have 45 minutes to set up a 72-piece orchestra. When I have limited time, when I have the time available, I will more than happily write this down. At 12:15, I will do this. At 12:20, I will do this. At 12:25, I will perform an estimate on ticket 7149. At 12:45, I will call them. At 12:50, if they approve, I will do the repair. At 1 o'clock, I will try this to fix it. At 1:10, I will try this other thing to fix it. At 1:30, I will try this thing to fix it. And if at 1:35 none of that works, I will give up and I will come back to it later. What this does is it allows me to not waste time. But the problem with a system like this is that it requires discipline. You have to say to yourself, I know I really wanted to get this done. I know I'm going to feel anxious until I finish this, but fuck off, I need to do all this other crap, and I allotted myself 10 minutes to do this. And I did not get that done in 10 minutes, so I'm going to move on to the other stuff. And we as people don't like the idea of knowing that we have shit to do. We want to get it out of the way. And there's nothing worse than doing work knowing that you're going to have to come back to something later, knowing that this thing is waiting there for you, staring at you with the evil eye, that it's just, and building it up in your mind as to how much of a problem and how much of a mess this is going to be when I leave it for later. You just want to do it now, but no, you don't get to. You need to be disciplined. You need to do this other shit right now. And what you're going to notice is that you can get an amazing amount of work done in a very short amount of time. And that's what I managed to do from the age of 17 onwards. I got a lot of work done in a very short amount of time. I learned a lot, I accomplished a lot, and you know what happened when my early 20s rolled around? I said to myself, well, what if I became a bit more of a workaholic? What if I threw more time at the situation? And I thought that by throwing a resource at a situation, that I would be making it better. How can it possibly go wrong if I spend more time on it? And I did this because around 2009, 2010, I decided to start trying new things. I decided to try new things to get more business, and I felt this need to put the time in to ensure that it didn't fail. I thought that I was taking it more seriously. And the reality of the matter is that when I threw more time at it, I got more time, but I lost something that was infinitely more important than time, and that is the discipline. I took discipline out of the scenario. Hey, if I now have Saturday and Sunday to do this, I have more time. And what I noticed is that my very, very clearly managed system so that I could do everything slowly went out the window because I had the luxury of time. And what I noticed is that when I used to be this productive over a 3-hour time period, I was now this productive over a 9-hour time period. And it got to a point where it made me sad. And eventually I decided to return to this system. And when I returned to this system of saying, I will spend time doing this, I will spend this time doing that, I will spend this time doing that, and if this wasn't done in that amount of time, fuck it, I'm moving on to the next thing. You know what I noticed? That I made more money. I noticed that I lived a more relaxed life. I noticed that my gross income from my business literally tripled over the time period that I decided to have this management system in place. And let me give you a little idea why. If you're a subscriber to this channel, you may have seen the video on hamster work versus real work. And I'm going to discuss that very shortly here because it does have context in the conversation. Hamster real work is work that you will always have to do again. Hamster wheel work for this business, for example, is the process of fixing an iPhone. It does not matter how many times you do it, you will have to continue doing it for it to make you money. And if you stop doing it at any point, the gravy train ends and you stop making money. That's working in a hamster wheel. It doesn't matter how fast you run in the wheel, you will always have to run again, and you will have not gotten anywhere new. Real work is work that sticks. Real work is work that once you do once, you won't have to do again. You won't have to keep spinning, and you will have gotten somewhere as a result of doing the work. Your business needs both types of work in order to prosper. So let's say you set aside some time, and now instead of selling things on Amazon and eBay, you're selling them on your own company website. That website is going to be there tomorrow. You don't have to do any work to keep that website up. That website is always going to be there. But the shipping, the packaging, the answering the phone, this is the hamster wheel work. This is stuff that regardless of how fast you do it, you're always going to have to do more tomorrow. And if you stop shipping things, then tomorrow there's not going to be anything for the postman to pick up. Unlike your website, which is still there, your outgoing shipping section, your customers waiting for orders are going to be angry because there's nothing there, because you haven't put more work into it. Real work is work that you could put your time and effort into and then stop putting time and effort into it, and it will still be there. Hamster wheel work is work that you need to do for your business, but that as soon as you stop doing it, you will notice something goes wrong. So you need to focus on both. And it's really easy for the new business owner to spend all their time on the hamster wheel work because they need to feel busy. They cannot feel like I have a chance to make $50, but I'm giving up that chance to do some other work that is not making me money. They feel that they need a direct correlation between them doing work and them receiving immediate money. And the reason they need that is because most entrepreneurs don't know when or how their paycheck is going to come, and that is a scary fucking feeling. It is very difficult to deal with not knowing with when your paycheck is going to come. So you simply feel this need to take as much money as humanly possible in and to spend as much time running in that wheel to generate money because you don't know when it's going to end. But the reality is if you don't step outside that wheel, you can't try a marketing initiative that may bring you an extra $10 or $15 or $20,000 a month. And when you are able to spend the time on that to do it, you will have more hamster wheel work, but you don't have to spend any more time on the real work. And the reality and the beautiful thing about having my time management system in place is that when you do everything like this, you can say, I allocate 1 hour of time to this real work. Or you may get your 9-hour day done in 2 or 3 or 4 hours through discipline. Then you may go home early. And then when you go home early, you could spend that time at home on the marketing campaign. You could spend that time at home talking to somebody else in your industry and meeting them and then getting a great idea that you can come back with and use to make more money. So when you have this system in place, you'll notice that business starts to do better. And this is not a system that can only be applied to your business life. This is a system that I've applied to my personal life. A problem that many people have is that they wake up an hour or 2 hours before work and they always get to work late. And even if they wake up earlier, they manage getting to work late. They probably don't use my system. From the moment that I wake up, I say, I'm going to take 1 minute to get out of bed because frankly, I'm not a morning person. I'm going to take 1 minute to pick out my clothes. I'm going to take 5 minutes to take a shower. I'm going to take 5 minutes if I need to take a shit. I'm going to take 1 minute to brush my teeth. I'm going to take 1 minute to wash it out. I'm going to take 1 minute to comb my hair. I'm going to take 3 minutes to get dressed. I'm going to take 5 minutes to talk to my cat, feed my cat. I'm going to take 5 minutes to gather my things before I leave. I'm going to take 1 minute to leave. I'm going to take this much time for this much time for that. And the thing is, I can wake up at the same time every day and know that I'm going to get to work in time. And that doesn't mean that I'm leaving for work hours earlier than I need to, and it doesn't mean that I'm rushing. Just because I say I'm allocating a minute to this, 2 minutes to this, 3 minutes to that, you must think that I'm working like, oh my God, I gotta beat the clock, oh my God, I gotta beat the clock. The reality is I think to myself, how long does it usually take for me to do these things? And I'll give myself an extra 30 seconds. I'll give myself an extra 2 minutes. I'll give myself an extra 5 minutes to do each of these tasks so that I know that I can get it done, which allows me to live a very stress and anxiety-free life because I wake up in the morning with the confidence that I can do everything that I need to do as long as I follow my system without having to stress over whether I'm going to be late, without having to stress about whether I'm not going to be able to make any of these things on time because I have a basic system and it's written out for me and it's right up here. And one of the things that I did a year and a half ago, which a lot of people give me shit for, is get rid of my cell phone because I was sick and tired of just being called and bombarded and annoyed all the time. And one of the things that a lot of people use cell phones for is to change their plans. And a lot of the times people aren't changing their plans because they need to. It's not because something came up or there's an emergency. That's one of the lines I love, by the way, when people go, what do you do in the case of an emergency? I go, you know what? If there's an emergency, somebody should probably call 911 and not me. But I digress. People usually change their plans due to a lack of discipline, and they use their cell phone as the tool to do this. Oh, I'm sorry, this took longer than I expected. I'm sorry, this took longer than I expected. I'm not going to see you. People would go, what do you do? How do you meet people? Well, I tell somebody, I'm going to be here at 9 o'clock. You can be here at 9 o'clock, and then we'll meet, and we'll have a fun evening. And this just seems so complicated and so far-fetched to all of these people that don't have a basic system. My plans very, very rarely change. Right now, I have one store and one business. At the time, I had 2 stores and a wholesale supply company, and somehow I managed to have plans that didn't always change because I had a basic system in place and I had discipline. Did I not have a busy schedule? I had a very fucking busy schedule. But I managed to get everything done that I needed to get done because I managed my time by saying, here's what I'm going to do, here's the amount of time each one's going to take to do it. I based it on real-world information that allowed me to give myself a reasonable plan. When I had unreasonable goals set for me, I would create a plan and I would do my best to make it reasonable, to relieve my anxiety and to give myself the confidence that I can do it and to give myself the framework to get the unreasonable goal done. And very often it worked. Now, you may find out that you need some sort of motivation. You need some sort of push to get you to the point where you decide, I'm going to change how I manage my time. And that's one thing that I can't give to you. That's something that you need to give to yourself. Some people have kids and they decide, I want to spend time watching my kid grow up, not working in a hamster wheel. So they change how they manage their time. Some people may notice, everybody else in my field is getting ahead of me. How are they doing that? And instead of making excuses for why everybody else is doing better, they may acknowledge that they have not spent time on what they should have and decide that they're going to spend their time just a little bit different. Myself, I have my own reasons for why I want to manage my time a little bit better. I have my own reasons for why I want discipline to play a little bit more of an active role in my scheduling so that I can make time for what I want to make time for. But that's not really your business. I wish you the best of luck in changing how you manage your time. I want you to manage your time in a manner that allows you to be more successful, that allows you to be less anxious, that allows you to enjoy yourself more, that allows your business to grow in a manner that it wasn't able to back when you were just had random goals with no actual time set. And I'm not talking about I'm going to do this tomorrow, I'm going to do this the day after tomorrow, I'm going to do this next week, I'm going to do this on Friday. I want you to try to set your day up where you say, I'm going to do this at this time. I'm going to do this at this time. Try to do this within the next 3 to 5 hours of your life. And if you do manage to achieve some great level of success, or even if small parts of your life become a little bit better as a result of using this more disciplined system, post it in the comments. I want to hear it and I want to enjoy your success through you.